Here we are on episode 115 of the Trash Talk Business Podcast, brought to you at our new time, 16:30 for this week and this week only. This is our opportunity to grow, scale, and build our junk removal dreams. I'm Andy Weins, and today I'm joined by our quarterly guest, Mr. Andy Barten, to give us the quarterly Barten update. Mr. Andrew Barten, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing well, Andy. I appreciate having me on the show as always. I know we were supposed to be started here at 1600 hours. I apologize for that. I pride myself on being punctual and organized, and I'm failing today.
And here we are. You know what? Better late than never. It's one of my things I talk about. My 3 steps to success in life are to do the fucking thing, to tell the fucking world, and to show the fuck up. Because like I say, I always show up when I arrive. And the key is it's all about quality. So let's have a quality show. So what are you seeing and feeling? To give real quick for some more newer listeners, background. Let's get high level. How long you been doing this? Trucks, employees, all that fun stuff. Let's set the baseline. Then we'll get into where you're at this year.
So started in 2012. Trucks, we actually just wrecked one, so we're one less than we used to be. I think we're sitting at 24 now. And we just had a new guy start today, so we had 15 men in the field, 3 people in the office. I don't know if that gentleman that started today will be here tomorrow, though. So if we do this interview again tomorrow, it may go back down to 14 guys.
Hold on, you had 15 guys in the field and you got 24 trucks?
Yeah, I like to run. I run most of them singles. I just try to cover more ground and keep shit moving.
That's fair. Yeah, we run a lot of our trucks in tandem. We'll run a dump truck with a box truck because we take a lot of material back to our facility for donating and sorting and whatnot. So that makes sense. All right. And you're still operating out of the 2 locations. Is that accurate?
That is correct. Cherry Hill and the Point Pleasant area, the greater New Jersey Shore area.
And so you're saying your 24 or your 15 head count, is that both locations?
Yeah, that's both locations. I think it sounds like a lot. Some of those trucks are a little specialized. They don't all move every day. But the other important thing I think to remember is we're at a position where we just can't afford to be down capacity. So we currently have three hook lift trucks, 2 cable trucks. We don't always need the second cable truck. We don't always need the third hook lift truck. But the problem is, if you have a maintenance day, we almost always need 1, and we almost always need 2. So that's how we run.
Oh yeah, no, we have a truck down this week. It's in for a recall, so it's off our regular maintenance schedule, and we're already like tomorrow. We're like, shit, we're kind of at capacity. We're running 6 trucks tomorrow, and it's like shit, running 6 trucks tomorrow. We can start pulling, but right, like we can run 9 trucks. However, we have a base load of 7. Those are the 7 trucks we run: 4 box trucks, 3 dump trucks. That's our base load most days. And after that, now we're starting to pull pickup trucks and trailers, or like you said, special equipment. We use open trailers for hot tubs and things like that because it's much safer to wheel them on, wheel them off than it is to try to put it in the dump trucks. And we use our dump trailer for a lot of scrap runs when we're doing larger projects. We don't run it all day, every day. So I can appreciate that. And that's why as you grow in scale, when you have a truck that's paid off, like for me at least, when I have a truck that is paid off, I have a hard time parting with it because I know it's there, right? Like that's it. Like you might need to jump, and yet it's still sitting there. I think the last truck we actually got rid of, it sat for like 6 months. We might have used it like 3 times, and it was finally to a point where I'm like, every time we had to use it, we had to jump. And so I'm like, all right, finally get it on down the road. So I can appreciate having extra equipment as needed. What's up, Jordan Edwards? Do we know that guy? I don't know if I know that guy. What's up, man?
I do not know Jordan. I like his look though. He's looking sharp.
Yeah. He looks like a guy that's banging jobs in his truck. That's the look, right? That's the look we all had. For those listening only, Andy Barten came in hot and sweaty, so he's still banging jobs, working in the field. So thankful to have him with us here today. All right,
I was in the field all day today too, and it's just it's the nature of the beast, man. If you've been marketing, you should be working. That's what it comes down to.
Oh, yeah. I tell people all the time, we do not make money in our business when I'm in the office. I need to be out at networking events. I need to be out cold knocking. I need to be out doing speaking, whether it's sales presentations or I do keynotes in front of audiences. I need to be involved in the community. Here we go. Pick and serve junk removal. I like that. It's a fucking solid name. I've never seen this cat before. So, hey, Jordan B. Edwards, let's go. Pride and Service Junk Removal. Jordan, if you can still text, I want to know where you're at. That'll be interesting. Maybe we'll get him chat, and we'll answer some questions for him today. All right. So, Andy Barten, first half of the year, where are you year to date as far as your goal, where you thought you were going to be versus where you are?
So I was actually talking to Raven about this. I'm going to encourage you to put Raven on the show. I know we talk about it quite a few times, but she's the brains of this operation in terms of data.
Well, where the hell is she?
Well, you tell me when you want to talk to her later on here. You're going to get a fresh perspective. These guys are going to be blown away by what she's capable of. So,
she's wicked smart. It's true. All right.
Yeah.
Can we get her on the show today yet? Can she slide over and jump in, or do we have to schedule this?
I can work her in. I don't know if she's back yet, though. Excuse me one second. Is your mother home? No, she's still in the office. She's slaving away over there.
All right, fine. We'll bring Raven in.
I'll get you what you need, and she's not gonna want to share the spotlight with me anyhow. She's got too much to say. So,
all right. Well, you're out banging jobs. What have you felt the year's been?
Oh, I know. I'm talking to Raven. We're up. I know we're up a decent amount. I don't know. I wish I could tell you what the data is here. Let me see if I can pull it real fast. I'm working on it. I just want to make sure I'm not giving you bullshit numbers.
All right. Jordan Edwards.
Overall, man, I'm telling you, I think there's a lot of opportunity out there. We're busy. We're just out there knocking out jobs every day. I do think you got to be a little more forgiving sometimes, but you can make things happen. So it's if you stop spending money on marketing last year, you got nervous about the economy. I think that's the biggest mistake people made. And I think my advice right now is figure out how to start spending again. And I'm sure if you're slow, it doesn't feel good to have to spend the money on the marketing, but I think it's your only way out. And I'll tell you what, man, our industry continues to mature. I think there's still a lot of room in it, but it's an opportunity if you got some scale. Like, you can just own market share right now, because these guys it's getting to a point where people can't catch up with you.
Well, it's interesting you just said something. So there's a band I used to tour the country with called Maraschino out of Milwaukee, and they had a song called "The Only Way Out Is Through." And so, right when you said the only way out, right, and like I thought about that's what I thought about. Through the first 6 months of the year, we only spent about 80% of our anticipated marketing budget. So we had about 20% we never spent. And all of a sudden, May, we hit our number. June, about halfway through June, we're like, shit, we're not going to hit our number. We are not on track in June to hit our goal number, right? Year over year, we're good, whatever. But the only number I give a shit about is where we are compared to goal. And so I said, hey, crank it up. So we cranked it up the last 2 weeks of June and the first week of July. We also know the 4th of July week is historically a slow week for us. And so we put it out there, and we offered special pricing for existing and new customers for like a 10-day period. And that stimulated it. That we got I remember I was at a hot tub estimate, and the lady's like, oh yeah, we've been thinking about getting rid of it. And I just saw your 10% off for new customers. We're like, yeah, let's just do it. So it's like, you know what? That 10% made the difference. And I could eat that 10% on a hot tub. It was nearby. It was a simple one. So there was all the reasons in the world for us to offer that out. And to his point, Andy Barten hopped off. It looks like his internet's jacked up or something. We'll get him back. The whole point here is the only way out is through. The challenge is, and I'll lean into this, what Andy said is, often as business owners, we will find a reason to not market. When sales are good, well, why do we need to market? Sales are good. Sales are bad. Oh, we don't have the money to market. And yet the key is to consistently market. The key is to control the situation, not let the situation control you. If anything, when we are slow, that's when I dip into my pocket a little bit more, because I want to weather the storm. I want to put up a good fight when it's not working. And so the key there is to stay consistent with my marketing, and also know that I have some dollars I can turn up. I can always turn up Facebook. I can always turn up Google, right? There's other, I can't go buy another truck and wrap it in a 3-day turnaround and expect it to start making me money. However, there are some things I can do to turn up the dollars. All right, Andy Barten, you fell off. I carried the audience. I filibustered it. Talk about how
you're all right, bro.
Yeah, no, I'm not too concerned. All right, what else are you seeing in the industry? You're always, I will say, you got to be one of the most optimistic people in the industry. All right, here we got Eddie. Let's see what Eddie has to say. Eddie says, past years, whenever we got slow, I would cut marketing. This year we kept it going, and we do even more. Let's go, Eddie. All right, this is what I love about this show and this community we have here in junk removal. When you're first starting in business, we all operate with a scarcity mindset. It's part of the lack of confidence, the lack of knowledge, right? You're consistently reacting to what the market's throwing at you versus predicting what to do. And to that point, Eddie, I appreciate your transparency. And I know I did the same thing. It's like, oh, we're slow. Let's cut. Let's save. Now I'm like, oh, we're slow. Let's go spend more. And the key is I had money in the budget because I budget with an expectation. There's going to be a time I need to turn it on. I will give you credit here, Andy Barten. You said something last time you were on the show in April, and it completely changed my mindset. So you talked about, I don't know if you remember this, in April, you talked about buying out one of your competitors. You remember that?
I do. I heard your show there afterwards too. I see.
Yeah. Like moves. A week later, I get a call from one of my competitors, and I ended up acquiring one of my competitors since our last show. It was our last show together, and I give you all the credit, right? Again, this is what we're building within this junk removal community. Anyhow, this morning, we had a rough week last week, revenue-wise, because we took off the 3rd and had all-team training, our quarterly training day, and then the 4th, we were off. So the 3 days we work, we hit goal. We do not work Saturdays. Typically, we only do e-waste events, and we didn't do an e-waste event 4th of July weekend because no one's going to be there, and we do not work Sundays. So we got 3 days to make money on a 5-day week. So we had a rough week overall. This morning, or last night, this morning, look at the schedule. It was a grim looking schedule this week. Not looking great, you know? And I told them, I said, somewhere between Sunday afternoon and Monday morning, I have a little fucking pity party, panic attack, fuck, right? It's one of two things. Either, fuck, we got so much work, I don't have enough employees, or I don't have enough work, how the hell are we going to pay our bills, right? It's never like, I have the perfect amount of work and the best crew and we're going to get it right. I go extreme one way or the other. And he goes, so we were talking about that this morning. He goes, because he's been with me like 6 weeks now. He goes, is it like that every week? I go, yeah. He goes, and yet every week we make our number. I go, yep. I said, and if we don't, we can have a shitty week every month. We can have one shitty week every month and we still make our number, right? Like, so we had a shitty June and yet we finished up 13% over goal on top line revenue through the first 6 months. It's like Q1 was strong. April and May, we hit our number. And June was the 1 month in the last 6 that we did not hit our number. So I'm not happy about it. And yet, once we close the books on June, July 1 starts. New month, new week, new month, new quarter. Let's go. And now we really win weekly. That's, day to day we monitor, and our goal is to win every week. And we're going to lose 1 month. We're going to potentially lose 1 week a month. And that means we're still hitting the nut 75% of the time.
Yeah, well, I think your perspective is 100% right, though. I think guys want to overanalyze, and I complain about this all the time, and I'm sure I've said it on your show before, but dude, put your feet in the ground and go out and get the work. Find the work, get the work done, make it happen. Whatever your version of that is, if you need to sit in front of your computer and write estimates, or if you actually need to go out in the field and motivate the men and women, or if you need to go down to the office and talk to them and watch them take phone calls, get involved, stay involved, and just go out with that positive attitude. You call me optimistic. I'm telling you, man, I'm hunting all the time. And I think that's why I'm optimistic. Like, I fill a schedule every day. Some days it's filled. Other days, just like you said, I go out and I'm like, shit, there's nothing to do. And I start pounding the pavement, making phone calls. And guess what? We make shit happen. We go out and make money. And that's the game, man. You got to maintain that positivity. You got to maintain that attitude. Like, I'm going to go out and win, or I'm going to go out and do my damnedest to try to win,
Oh yeah, I told my guys this morning, when I'm in the office, we are not making money. That's it. Right? If I'm in the office doing tours and one-on-ones, that's when I make money in the office. The rest of the time I'm in the office, I'm checking emails. I'm watching people do work I fucking pay them to do. That doesn't do it for us. I need to be out pounding the pavement at networking events. So I tell them, set me up with one-on-ones all day. Set me up with networking events. And so this year we tracked it. We'll do about 460 to 500 networking events this year when the year is all said and done. And now that's between 3 of us primarily doing networking events. It's like, yeah, like if there's a ribbon cutting, there's a reason for me to leave the office and go meet a few people for, half hour, 45 minutes. Let's go. If there's an all-day conference for me to walk around, let's go. That's what I do. Hell, 3rd of July, we did a parade. I do not know the ROI on the parade. Not a fucking clue, right? However, I do know when I go to Costco, people are like, oh, hey, I saw you at the parade, right? Like, that's what it's about. It's about, okay, it was one more touch. One more time they saw the truck. One more interaction we had. And you don't get it by sitting in your fucking basement waiting for the phone to ring. You don't get it by sitting back and bitching that the economy's bad or this is bad, right? And that's that killer mindset, that winning attitude that you need to have in order to scale any type of business, especially in this industry.
Yeah, I think it's 100% right. And, we've had that conversation before. I also think it's important. I don't think you can brand until you get to a certain size, but I think you need to know the difference between your branding and your marketing. And that parade is branding. It just keeps you front of the mind, top of mind. They're thinking about you. I don't know if we talked about it in this show or if we did it in one of the Facebook chats, but like I followed Casey Walsh's model down there with stand-up guys. I stopped putting my phone number and my website on my yard signs. I got billboards up all over the place. No phone number, no website. It just says Barten Brothers Junk Removal, and it's got a photo on it. And I'm telling you, it works. You see it. You see it in the revenue increase. You see it in the amount of customers calling.
I have not heard. Okay, so I actually referenced stand-up guys. I referenced him earlier today as one of the biggest independent haulers in the country that I know of.
I think he is. I think he is the biggest if you don't count any of the private equity money.
Yeah, correct. Completely independent guys. I said he was like top 10 because he's down there in Indianapolis, right? And he runs a sizable operation.
He comes out of Georgia. I don't think he's got anything in Indianapolis. You're talking about Bennett up at Fire Dogs. They're out of Indianapolis.
Yeah, and now they're all PE guys. But all right. Maybe I forgot where he was from. Yeah, stand-up guy. Okay, so stand-up guy. Okay, so he doesn't put his phone number. So this is news to me. What's the logic behind that?
My logic was real simple. I go down to Florida. I see one of the signs. I text him. I was like, dude, the sign really looks great. It pops.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I said to him. Hey, you got to go on about your business. And he goes, yeah. He goes, it's really sharp. And the other thing he'd done was turned it sideways, which I was into. I thought it was cool just for a different change of pace. But I started thinking about it. I was like, dude, I have never dialed one of those numbers. I've never gone to their website. If I see a yard sign, a roadside sign, and I'm interested, I Google it. First thing I do is check the reputation. And if I Google them, now I'm just gonna click the call button right there.
Yeah, great. Or you'll take a picture of the sign to remember to Google, not to then write down the numbers and then go back in your phone. Yeah. Huh. 100%. So he does not put his number on yard signs or billboards.
Well, I don't know if Casey's doing any billboards, but I'm following the same philosophy there.
But the yard sign, got it. So it's the don't send people to a thing. Tell them. Do you do radio ads?
No, I tell you what, man. I'm not. If they gave me the right price, I would try it. But I have not listened to radio in forever. I'm really interested in Hulu ads. I don't. Yeah. I used to do cable back in the day. Cable I think was very successful, but I just don't believe it's reaching a demographic I'm looking for. Our customers in junk removal have a high disposable income. They're investing in things like Sirius XM Radio or Apple Music, Hulu, Paramount, any of those streaming services. I just don't believe most of them are watching cable TV anymore. And so if my customer's not there, I don't need to be there.
Yeah, we do. So we have Spectrum. So I have a Spectrum ad that runs, and we have older people that that watch Spectrum, and it only is on Spectrum News. So there's like a credibility, like almost like you're a utility or community or public works kind of thing. So therefore, that works for me because, like to your point about branding, it gives me credibility. Like they'll say like, "Oh, I seen you on TV," and like for that older demographic, seeing you on TV is like, "Oh, you're legit." Like that, right? You and I, our generation goes to Google, right? They are, "Oh, I saw you on TV. You must be legit."
I 100% agree, and I do want to be clear. Like I don't think there's any one way to do this. You know what I mean?
No. I've never done billboards, never done them. I've done radio in the past. I'm doing radio right now on a trade. I did the work and now we're doing it on trade. And I'll see, the reason I ask is because, on a 30-second radio clip, be able to say your website and phone number, that chews up a lot of time of that 30 seconds. So that now it's got me rethinking like, hey, am I better off just saying, hey, Camo Crew junk removal,
Well, I got to tell you what, dude, if I walked around with the nickname Andy fucking Weins, I'd probably just be pushing that. They'll find you.
I've been called worse.
Well, that's it. But dude, I think you just got to be memorable. That's really my answer. And I'm telling you, if they gave me a better deal on radio or TV, I would certainly consider it. I run those newspaper ads, and everybody thinks I'm nuts, but I get all my old people there. And I think you just have to be careful. You got to really break it down, look at your demographics. So we don't do a ton of business with the senior community. A lot of times we're dealing with their sons or daughters when they're going to assisted living or they've passed on. You're right. I'm trying to really make sure I'm staying top of mind with.
Yeah, you're doing work for the seniors. They're not the decision maker, though. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yep. So remind us. Don't you have? do you have like is it like a free paper that you're advertising? It's like stupid cheap.
Oh yeah, so we have a local paper here, and I advertise in two of them, and I hit some very affluent towns. I think it costs us like $500 a month. It's I also
Yeah.
do I also do just a ton of associations. I don't know if they're worthwhile or not, but they're cheap, and you build up your rapport and you make connections.
What are you talking about? Like Chamber of Commerce and things like that, going to networking events, or what
No, no,
association?
I'm not against that either. I don't personally involve with that. My problem with all the BNIs and the chamber events are I'm just not willing to give that much of my time.
Yeah.
But I like hitting the HOAs, that sort of thing. Go out
Mhm.
and make impact with those guys. Spend a little money there. They appreciate
Yeah.
your advertisement.
Yeah, we have so few HOAs in our area. Like HOAs are not a big thing in Wisconsin. I think that's like an East Coast thing, or I know Florida has a ton of HOAs. We don't have a lot of HOAs in our area. So okay, I would like it because then you can hit a community of 200, 500 houses by getting in with one or two people.
Yeah, well, and I think what do they say? Fashion comes from the West. HOAs are coming from the East, bro. They'll come there eventually. Give them
Oh yeah,
time.
everything takes time in the Midwest. Everything's 10 years behind. I'm fine with that. I don't. I mean, I live out in the country. I live on a farm, so the HOA ain't coming to my neighborhood. My neighborhood is 2 houses on a country road. There's 3 houses on my side of the street in a 1 mile stretch, and our family owns 2 of them. So that's my fucking
I
HOA.
love that.
That's I when I got back from Gitmo 10 years ago. Has it been 10 years? No, 9 years ago. I had to look at the calendar what year it was. 9 years ago, I got home to Gitmo. I moved out to the country for a year. It's been 9. So my days living in the city or even never really lived in the burbs much, but the days of living in the city are way behind me. I grew up in the burbs. So I went from the burbs, lived in the city, and now country, and that's where I'll spend the next 40 years probably.
Outside of the junk removal, I am pushing a little diversification. I don't know if it's real popular with everybody, but I think in the interesting economy we're in, I do think you have some different tranches. So whether you're doing dumpsters, demolition, I think there's some real opportunity. I think I told you we started the moving service.
Yeah, how's that
How
going?
about that? Dude, it's kicking ass right now. I haven't even turned it on just because I'm going to say I didn't have the time. That's half true. The other half is I'm just lazy. But dude, the phones are ringing. The truck's going out. We're moving 3 or 4 people a week. And I'll tell you what, every one of them is gaining me a junk removal job.
See, that
It's a
was my
no brainer.
struggle when we were doing moving. It was not leading to a lot of junk removal. It was like either or, and I did it for years. Right, we did the moving game for years, and I know I am a firm believer. Right, once you master the first thing, the issue I have with a lot of guys on Facebook, it's like, what do you do during the slow season? It's like, no, I don't do like I get my junk removal's got to pay the bills, right? That's got to be the thing, and then I will add other lines of business, not in lieu of, right? So same with you. It's like you were kicking ass with junk removal, you got into dumpsters, kicking ass on dumpsters, now you're getting into moving. That makes sense because you're adding lines of service, not replacing, you know, lines that aren't working. There's a huge, huge mindset
100%.
difference.
100. You spoke about that on a previous show too, and I absolutely agree with that. I think what was Casey was talking about 7 streams of revenue, and you brought that up. I
Yeah,
think it's a very important point. Like figure out how to do the thing you're doing already before you start working on the next thing.
absolutely. There's a difference with the guys that are 1-2 truck operations and us that are 5 or 6 trucks. When I was a 1-2 truck operation, there was nothing else to think about. I got to junk removal, and then I started hitting ceilings. And when I realized, like last year, I was doing a bunch of container projects. I was in a year before that, I was doing a bunch of contract work, and it was good while it lasted, and yet it was not sustainable. I'm not doing that shit anymore. I haven't done a container job in 6 months now because it was like getting the good, we got it when it was good, and then as soon as it went away, it's like, all right, on to the next thing. And the next thing was the first thing we did before. And yet jumping into that container business didn't compromise our junk removal business. It added to it. The challenge is when you don't have that junk removal or that your top line revenue, your bread and butter, when that ain't taken care of, everything's a fucking distraction thereafter. And for me, the more I focus on my junk removal, my bread and butter, the more money I make. That's the reality of it. It's real easy to get distracted.
I think that's a very valid point. I do think it's on a bell curve. You're gonna hit a point where I honestly think I have to have enough services to keep the men busy. I can't afford one slow day. When you got 14 or 15 guys expecting to come in that day and you ain't got nothing for them to do, you got to find something for them to do. And I've spoken about that about the fencing before. What I love about the fencing is I go out and I sell the job. I can almost always get the material the same day or the next day. And the customer always expects to wait a month, 6 weeks. So I throw it in the shop. And if I have a big job cancel, I call that customer up and say, hey, it came in early. Would you like to get it done today? And we book it. And that's,
right. It's also no one's contingent, right? Like you don't need someone there. You just go fucking bang it out.
Yep, and it fills in a day where I would otherwise had a loss. So
do you let your guys get do you cap your guys, or do you let them get as much overtime as they want typically?
So I'm pretty. I try to be very respectful of making sure they're getting some time off and some rest. That being said, I do not turn down money. So if there's work to be done, we go out and get the work done. We put in some really long days sometimes. That's just the nature of the beast. But I do like I had a guy that wanted to pick up a couple Saturdays, and I said, "Hey, listen, I'm not against it." I said, "But if you start to get burned out, if you start to not perform well, like I'm going to take that Saturday back." I have guys that work Tuesday through Saturday, I have guys that work Monday through Friday, and so like I don't necessarily need your help. If you're looking for a little extra cash and you can help me and I can help you, I'm totally into it. But I really do believe they're gonna have those 2 days off, and you gotta have some time to rest. That new kid today, man, I hope he comes back. I think he's still got potential. I think he's just totally unprepared. Young man, 23, 24. I guarantee he didn't drink water today. Or not today. He didn't drink water yesterday. You know what I mean? He's drinking water all day today, but he can't catch up.
Yeah. Drinking water today it's already too late. You got to hydrate the day before. Yeah, I had a volleyball tournament on Saturday, and Friday I'm like, yep, drink water. Didn't cramp up, nothing. Right? I'm 40. Fuck. There was plenty of 20-year-olds on. I probably was the oldest guy in the tournament. Hence the splint on my finger, because that's what happens when you're fucking old. And here's the deal. I jacked it up back in January, and I had several people look at it and they're like, well, when do you rest it? I go, well, I rest it like, Thursday and Friday night, and I play volleyball again on Saturday. and then I rested Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Or Sunday, Monday, and I play volleyball again on Tuesday. So I'm actually going to give it a month here to maybe heal. We'll see.
I wouldn't let a finger hold me back from doing something fun. I'll tell you that.
Oh no, it's not holding me back. I'm just. Oh no, I'm gonna. Crap. I just have to tape it harder. I just have to be more conscious outside of work. Yeah, for, Sunday morning I was with my brothers and my dad and ma, and we're moving a bunch of shit around the barn. And I thought I was gonna get smart and put a glove on. I was like, oh, I'll protect it. No, we're doing barn work. There ain't no. There's no protected shit when you're doing barn work, because it's all the shit we're doing is like not regular movement. It's working around a 150-year-old barn. All right, so let's talk about this. So we call them trial day guys. Do you interview these cats, or you just throw them on the truck and figure out if they can make it or not?
Oh no, I interview a lot. I continue to advance it. I've spoken a little bit about this with Russ Burry and Justin, but dude, like I'm trying to give them as many tests as I can: personality tests, intelligence tests, talking to them, really trying to lay it out. My onboarding paper is now like 13 pages long. I don't know if anybody reads it, but I've really tried to establish a methodology where I'm being as upfront and honest with you as I can and trying to vet these guys. Because the last thing I want to do is pay a guy to come to work all day who sucks. This kid, I had to put him in the truck. He had to keep taking water breaks. I said, dude, spend 15 minutes in the air conditioning. Now, I'm not holding against him. It's his first day. He's learning.
Yeah, he doesn't know shit yet.
If he doesn't show up tomorrow, that was a complete waste of my time and money. He was a drag on the day. He wasn't even helpful.
Yeah, no, that is what happened with us in May. We were interviewing guys, but then we started throwing bodies at problems, and what a waste of fucking money. And so, yeah, we are getting better at it. My whole thing is I hate. So you do a personality test for a laborer, entry level guy.
Oh yeah, bro. Dave, tell you what, if you don't think it's a lot of money, I probably don't want you anyhow. You know what I mean? If you're not interested in growing with us, it's funny, dude. Like you go out and offer somebody $20, $25 an hour, and they look at you like it's nothing. I think back to myself, dude. I got out of the Marine Corps and I made $8.25 an hour being a hotel janitor and going to college. Like, I got no tolerance for it. I'll give you more money. I'm willing to pay you, but you're gonna show up here and show me. And so I look at it like this. Like I think giving a guy $20, $25 a lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm cheap. Maybe I don't know, but dude, like when you got a bunch of guys and those hours start to add up, that's that's a serious nut you got to crack. So if you're not willing to take my personality test, you're already out. I don't need you. You know what I mean? You want to join a team? Like I tell everybody, I want a minimum of 1 year. If you're not interested in committing to 1 year, I don't want you.
Fuck, I struggle to get guys to stay 1 month. Oh, I definitely, our organization, me being the owner, have tons of room for improvement here on our interviewing and vetting to show them that we're looking for quality people versus, crap in, crap out. And we're just churning people constantly.
Well, and I want to be clear, like we're marginally better at it. Like the system is
well,
marginally.
Yeah, but marginally better than where you started. How often are you hiring guys right now? I mean, you're carrying 15.
I could use more. I got extra capacity. Even with so I got that truck that got wrecked, and then I ended up with a truck with a down compressor that's in for warranty work. But of course, when it's warranty work, dude, it's gone for 2 weeks minimum.
Yeah, it's gonna be gone forever. Yeah, because it's
I mean,
sitting there.
Yeah, there's dude, I got 2 or 3 trucks getting work done all the time.
Yep.
But I could always use more guys, man. Like I can go out and sell more jobs. I can move shit up. Like there's stuff I book out 2 or 3 weeks, and I don't like doing it. I make them give me a deposit to make sure they're hooked in, but I would love to just start keeping up. In my mind, that's all more money I can make because the phone keeps ringing.
Do you require a lot of deposits?
I don't love it. I started doing it when I started having to book shit out further. Like I'm not willing to let them go. So give me your money now. Prove you're serious.
So you're struggling to keep. So you're booked up for this week, for example. Like, are you booked up 7 and 10 days out typically?
I'm never going to tell you I'm booked up. I got work. You know what I mean? Well, dude, it's just the fact of the matter. I don't turn shit down. I can always find room to add something on. If we're going out in the dark or we're starting earlier, that's fine. But I do not say no. We go out and do this. But like right now, we have work. We got enough work to keep the crew moving. We're not. I don't think we got enough work that we're making money, but we got enough work we're working.
Yeah. Well, you're making money. You're just not letting the world on fire. You're not losing money out there.
Well, yeah, but I tell the guys this all the time, and I don't know if you guys experience it out there in the audience or even you. But I don't think I make money until the 27th every month.
Yeah, the
overhead is crazy.
Oh yeah, the last week of the month, I either make it or I don't. If I have a shit second or third week, I need the last week to pay the bills to go in the next month. Yeah, no, May was a rough month. It was a 3 payroll month, and we were doing exactly what you're talking about. We were bringing guys in, 2 guys almost every fucking day that were trial day guys, we call them, right? And most of them didn't make it a week. So we didn't make any fucking money having them, testing them out there. We might have got some work out of them, and didn't make our money on them. Here, Eddie's got a question for us. Eddie, where do you guys look for people? Seems like it matters where you look. I will agree 100%. Andrew, start it off. Where do you get your guys from?
So big shout out to Eddie. I've done some work with Eddie. We've collaborated some classes. So I'm a fan. He's a hustler. Keep him on your radar. He's a mover and a shaker.
These are two. Both the guys here today are brand new people to me. These are.
I don't know Jordan. I know Eddie. I like Eddie. I follow Eddie on Facebook already, but I literally had this conversation in a Facebook group I started trying to drum up some small business stuff. But I went out to Cherry Hill today, did some interviews, and we had some success. I was happy with the guys we spoke to. Now, long term, we'll see how they look in a week or a month or 3 months. But I've been pushing them on Indeed. I push them on Facebook. Again, I think you have to invest your time and effort into copy. Like if you're not putting time into the copy, like the same way you're putting time into your marketing, you're not doing it right. I'll give a shout out to Blake over at Junko. He wrote one. I think Blake's really trying to move and shake here too. I see he's got franchise opportunities out there now. So it seems like he's doing good things. But he had an ad out at one point that I saw, and I don't know why or how I saw it. He was out of Knoxville, I think. But dude, I thought the copy was great. It wasn't exactly what I wanted to spin. It wasn't how I wanted my company to be perceived. But I loved the effort he put into it. And that was really a wake-up call for me. I was like, dude, I got to spend more time trying to write copy that people want to read. I want to get them interested and invested. So I spend a lot of time on it. You guys can go on my website. I literally have a YouTube link there with a video of me nerding out in a nice shirt talking about what our company values are. Do people watch it? I don't necessarily know, but it's all that information. You don't just go on our page and put it in your application. You can watch my video. You can follow us along. You go on Indeed. You go on Facebook. You look at the stuff. But dude, my copy is probably 2 pages long. Same thing. And I'm always trying to put qualifiers in there. So I have a website. I have an email, careers@bartenbros.com. And I go through there. And if it's like, for example, Indeed sends all the things there. I don't look at them in the email. I just go on Indeed and I shortlist them and then I call them if I want to. But I go through that email every time I got an ad up, and I look for somebody with a special subject line, because I tell them, like, in one of my copy, it says if you're really interested in this job, make the subject of your email what your favorite services we offer. And so that eliminates it, right? Indeed, new applicant, and this guy writes, my favorite service is hoarding. Bam, I'm already interested. Click on him, see what he's got to say.
Yeah, simple litmus test.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, this is as you're talking, I'm going to have my director of HR watch this episode, because there's nuggets you're giving here that we need to improve on. Like you said, marginal improvement. Well, hey, marginal improvement's improvement. Today, we realized in our weekly 90-minute meeting that our training overlooked orientation. We're like, we know how to onboard them, we know how to train them, and yet there was this gap of, like your point, going over the values, going over our 5-phase recovery process, why we do it, right? So it's like, that was a gap. It's like, we call it orientation, but we're like, common sense shit that doesn't need to be said. And yet, here we are, right? And it's like, no, take that hour to actually give them a no shit orientation. This is why we do what we do. And then they'll start to see tactically and strategically why we do it. And then there's less fucking explaining in the back end.
Well, and that's 100%. And so we're literally doing the same thing. So I'll give you 2 quick examples here. We've never totaled a truck before. This was the first for us. The truck is wrecked. It's being towed away. They're paying it out. And I'll tell you what, I took a 3-year note on that truck, and I'm so happy I did, because I actually have some value in it. It wasn't even a year old. It probably had 10,000 miles on it. It was the worst truck ever to wreck. But we're still in the black. We're actually going to make a little money on the deal, in terms of how much we owe on it. So I know I'm happy about that. That's my recommendation. Take a 3-year note. But in that process, I had to go over and clean everything out, and we ended up going back 2 or 3 times. We forgot to take the geotab tracker out. We forgot to take the license plates off. I decided to commandeer the ramp, because we seemed to have a problem losing those or breaking those, and I figured nobody at the insurance company is going to know the difference. But so what we did? We came back and we made a list. Now it's in our Google Drive. If we ever wreck another truck, I'm going to send a guy over with a checklist. These are all the steps you need to take, and these are the steps you need to do, right? And it sounds really stupid, but dude, why do I want to do it again?
Yeah, let's not think. So earlier today, one of my guys, Mike, was like, "Hey," because we did a job and we did it in a pickup truck, and we billed for 3 cubic yards because the guy added something. The guy didn't want to pay for 4 quarter trailers, so fine, we just billed 3. So Mike goes, "How big do you think that pile is?" I go, "I don't fucking think," right? Because that's it. My brain, I'm a non-thinking motherfucker. It's in the bed of a pickup truck, so I went and got a tape measure and measured it out. Yep, it was 4.12 cubic yards. All right, sounds good. Yep, the guy got an extra cubic yard out of us. Fine. Right. And it was like, that's what I love doing. Like you said, like, I've already thought once, I do not want to think a second time. And so when you do something, write down that SOP. How did you wreck the truck? You want to talk and tell our audience about that? It's like a little safety sand down?
Yeah, no, 100% stupidity. I'm not going to,
okay.
I'm not going to take any credit for it. I try to be very self-aware, very self-reflective. If you ever interviewed my guys, my favorite thing to say all day long is drive careful. Drive careful, pay attention. Who's ground guiding? Like, dude, I say these things probably 500 times a day if I'm out in the field. And with that, the team members here, most of them get paid by the hour. I brought a guy in early because he had a job a little ways away. It was raining out. He was doing 75 miles an hour in a Zuzu NPR down a 2-lane road. It's just stupid. There's absolutely no reason for it.
Yeah,
you were literally going to get the job before the customer was.
I told our guys last week during training, I cannot stress this to you enough. When you're running behind schedule, 30 seconds, a minute on the road is fucking nothing. You want to get back on schedule? Fucking step it out when you get to the customer's house. Carry twice as much, bag things quicker, get up those stairs quicker. You can make up 5, 10, 20, a half an hour, right, at a customer's job site. You're not going to make up 2 minutes on the fucking road going 10, 20 miles an hour over the speed limit. Like, I rarely operate our equipment. So when I get one of our 24-foot box trucks, mind you, I got 40,000 plus miles in Iraq in a fucking war zone driving a semi with fuel, right? Got the fucking badge and everything. I get one of our 24-foot trucks and I'm like, oh my God, don't hit anything. Am I in the lines? Put your phone away. Like, I am focused, right? I drive a Jeep. I fucking whip around that fucker all day, and yet when I'm in one of our NPRs or, NPRs, like the NPRs or our 24-foot trucks, I am beyond conscious and respectful because I know if someone's going to fuck it up, it's me, because I'm going to have this confidence thing, and I am humbled right by driving them. So when I see our guys, we have trackers in our truck. If I see our guys speeding in our trucks, I'm like, what are you guys doing? First of all, how'd you get up to speed? Right? Like, these trucks are slow moving, and
Dude,
yet, 75
the
minutes
NPR
right
at
now. What are you
75
doing?
miles an hour is not fun.
I don't, dude. NPRs after 70, like, so our freeways here are 70. After like 65, 70, I don't feel safe. I'm like, it's me and that bumper. Like, there is nothing. Something goes to shit, I am flying through this big ass windshield.
Well, that's exactly right, man.
Yeah.
And I don't know, dude. Like, I was very fortunate; nobody got hurt. He wrecked the truck. It
you
is
wrecked it.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
But yeah. The other flip side of that coin is, I showed up and the guy goes, "Am I fired?" I said, "Oh no." I said, "As far as I'm concerned, you're indebted to me for life now." I said, "I expect you to become a much better team member."
Yeah.
And dude, I'm 100% serious about that. Like, the guy knows he screwed up. He admitted to it. He didn't lie to me. There's no bullshit.
Yeah.
And like, dude, is it a really expensive mistake? Yeah.
Yeah.
But so is retraining a new employee who might go out and do the same stupid freaking thing.
How long's this guy been with you?
Oh, a year. It's not a long time, and the decision, we won't know if it's the right decision for a while, but
Yeah,
it's a decision I made, and that was my logic behind it. But I called and reported it, and that's the first thing my insurance agent asked me was, "Did you fire him?" And then the insurance underwriter called and they said, "Did you fire him?" And the guys, like, you gotta invest in people, dude. 100%. I believe that. If I didn't like the guy to begin with, I should never hired him. I hired him. I give him an opportunity. We had a really bad day, and hopefully, we're going to find out that we're not going to have any more bad days for a while.
Well, and the goal there is an employee like that. You don't have to explain why safety is important. The goal is you don't have to say 500 times a day, drive safe, take your time. Ground guide. You got a guy that's bought in because of his experience, and the goal is that finds its way over to the other employees so he can have conversations and talk about how fucking important this shit is, because he could be in a fucking box in the ground right now because of his choices.
Oh yeah, and yeah, he can lead the next safety meeting.
Yeah, I mean, what is the gift in all of this, right? That's always that's the mindset shift. What is the gift in all of this? And it's like, well, you got a fucking bought in employee. You got a bought in employee that knows that you got his back. The other thing is, when you fire him, you gain nothing as a customer or as a company. You lost the truck, now you lost an employee, right? That's a net zero. And yet, when you say, okay, no, you still got your job, right? And what you're also telling your guys is, hey, as the business owner, I take the risk. I'm out of fucking truck. You're not necessarily out of job. And you allow your guys to make choices. I fucking hate the word mistakes, right? Choices that do not work out, because when they make choices that do work out, guess what? You get to reap the profit. That's the risk reward benefit. And so now it instills that confidence in the guys that, hey, when you're right, and logical, and you'll have their back, versus if you're fucking acting a fool and you lied about it, well, then that's a whole nother story.
Well, we push that model all the time, dude. Do not lie to me. I can handle a lot of it. I just, I try to build a company culture that's, built on honesty. And it goes both ways. I speak honest. I allow them to speak honest. If you were ever in the shop, without customers present, you wouldn't be sure if we liked each other or not. But, it goes back, Ray Dalio said it in his book, and I'm sure I'm not using the way he intended, but it's radical transparency, right? It's a meritocracy.
Oh yeah.
Everybody gains their rights in that manner. So, that's the mission.
I talk it quite a bit. I tell people all the time, I give a shit what you say, not how you say it. If you want to get shitty, like if I have a guy, one of our guys, I've given our guys this permission for years. If you want to get shitty with a customer, call me. Get shitty with me. I will get you back on track, versus you fucking snapping on a customer. Right? Like, I can fucking handle it. I'm a grown fucking man.
Oh, 100%. Back on processes, I don't know what we're doing already on time, actually, I think.
Yeah, about 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's cool. But did I talk to you about Talent LMS? We
Sounds
may have covered
familiar.
it, we may not have.
Yeah, let's jump back into it though.
So basically, it's just creating a video
Oh,
training catalog, and I'm in
okay.
love with that. I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah. Are you still doing those? So you're the one creating the videos, and then you're having your guys watch those videos.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I haven't fully implemented it yet. I'm still in the creation stage. I've made
Yep.
quite a few now.
What's
And
LMS? What's that stand for?
learning management system.
Thank you. All right.
Yep. But I'll tell you what, dude, I think it's really cool. And I don't know if I need to make them. I think some of the guys could make them. It's just a
Yeah.
matter of, like I just want to make sure that version of it is perfect. I know nobody's going to go out and do it perfectly, but you watch
Perfection. Yeah,
yeah.
perfection. Don't strive for 80-20. Right. So one of the things we do in EOS, the entrepreneurial operating system, is the 20-80 principle. What is the 20% effort to get 80% result? Right? If you strive for 95, 99, you're going to kill yourself. If you say, hey, what's the minimum? Hey, this is how you use a ratchet strap. Here are the basic principles, right? 90 seconds. This end goes in this end, feeds back this way. That way it doesn't get pinched. You tighten as much as you can before you cinch it down, right? When you're undoing it, make sure you keep your finger out of here so it doesn't get the little pinchy pinch. Open it up, rewrap it this way. Boom, done. Not this is weighted for 12,000 pounds and this is 14,000 pounds. Let me explain to you the difference, but like there's the difference there, right?
Yeah,
Like
100%.
I was surprised how many people never used a ratchet strap before. And I'm like, we gotta okay, apparently we gotta do fucking ratchet strap training.
Well, I was actually going to I have not made that video, but I should. Literally, I teach every new guy how to use them.
I know it. We are like, oh, grab a ratchet strap, and half the guys are like, what? And I'm like, ah. And we have box trucks with rails on the side. So we're using ratchet straps every day, and not like difficult where you got to find somewhere to fucking hook it on. Like just plug in the rail system and tie down the load. Like this is right. We want to make this as simple as possible,
Oh yeah, bro. Since a moving company, I'm highly invested in the E-Track too. I'm in love with that.
Yeah, system. The E-Track. That's what. Yeah. Oh, I love the E-Track.
I've been nerding out on that, learning about all the different things you can do with it.
What else can you do with it? You fucking.
Oh, just the way you tie things down, how you can pull from different angles and pull from different heights. It's just.
Oh yeah.
And all the different little attachments you can do to, like so. What I've experienced, right, is if I go really high, it's difficult to pack it in and make sure it stays tight because it's hard to stay high all the way to the back of the box.
Yep.
But
yeah, that's the advantage with junk removal. We can stack it a little bit higher because if it gets dent or scratched, we're donating it. We're not putting it back in somebody's house, Oh yeah, no, I love so one of our box trucks does not have the E-Track, and we need to just go put the rails in. So our bread and butter is our 26 and 24 foot box trucks with lift gates with the E-Tracks. I mean, that is you can go do some work with those bad boys. We could pack theoretically 4 trailers into one of those. It's normally closer to 3 because it's difficult to stack it high. To your point, you can go out all day and bang 3-4 trailers worth of material and come back and unload it and take it to donation centers. Like that's how we make our money. That's our cat's pajamas.
Well, I've been jumping in that model too. I don't think we've spoken about it since then, but I hired a guy to come out and do the picking, and I'll tell you, it really has been very interesting. I've been learning a lot. I thought I knew a lot already. That's probably the number one warning sign, right?
Yeah, there you go. No, I'm so like that's such great self-awareness. You just did that whole thinking thing. I thought I thought, man, it was like, man, fuck, I thought I knew better. It's like, yeah, and yet here you are, right? Yeah, that's that fixed mindset. You think you're already dead. You didn't even know it.
But I'll tell you what, dude, I'm in love with that. How much material we're able to donate. So we've been, if the moving truck's not out moving, we've been using it on the jobs, and it's incredible. We're lowering disposal costs, and we're doing a lot of good for the community. But to your point, I actually measured that damn thing out because I filled it with some garbage the other day just because I was behind schedule.
Yeah,
and I could not believe, like, dude, it measures like 50 yards. I was like,
easy.
Holy shit, it's bigger than I thought it was.
Oh yeah, our 24 foot box truck. We go 24 by 7 by 7. That's the math we go. Anything beyond 7 feet high, you're lying to yourself if you can do that. Well, let's do the math right now. 24 7 by 7 is 1,176 cubic feet, right? Divide that by 27 is 43.5. So it's 43 and a half. Actually, no, I think they're 7.5 wide. So 7 by 7.5 by 24. Yeah, 1260. There it is. 1260 divided by 27. It's 46.6, right? So we call that 3 trailers because our trailers are 16 cubic yards. My other one is 26 foot And I think it's 8 foot on the inside, 8 to 8 or like 7 3/4. Like it's that extra half of or extra 2 feet deep and a half a foot wide. Like that fucking adds up, you know.
So it's a lot of material, bro.
Oh yeah, we love that truck. So that one's closer to 54 cubic yards, full stack. So that's 3.5 trailers. You gotta pack it in fucking perfect to get those 54 cubic yards. I'll tell you what though, when you go do a 2.5 trailer job, you only have to send one fucking truck. Makes life nice. What we do, this is where we win the most, is we run our box truck in tandem with our dump trucks. So that way our dump trucks are 1.5 trailers. They're 24 cubic yarders. So one's 24, one's 20, 26, 27. Anyways, we and then we have one that's a single 1 cubic yard. I got that Phil's junk removal. He put it up on the Facebook page, like 5-6 months ago. It was a dump truck with a lift gate, and I bought it. It was a fucking badass little Ford F450. Anyhow, we run our dump trucks in tandem with our box trucks. So if those guys go do 4 jobs, the perfect world is 1 to 1.5 go right to transfer station direct, and the other, 2.5 to 3 come back to our warehouse. And that's how we can maintain that 80% recovery rate, because now we're bringing all that material back to our warehouse. And a lot of times it's the heavier, bigger stuff, a lot of scrap, a lot of donate, books, clothes, all that shit. And it's the crap furniture and actual trash that ends up going to the landfill.
I'll tell you, even the crap furniture, I've had pretty good success getting some of that donated. But I'll tell you, like that's the model, dude, and that's where the future is.
That is the future of our industry.
You got to figure out how to hopscotch. You got to figure out how to route. Route efficiency is going to be the next big thing, I think. I know we got 7 minutes, so let's talk about the bolt-on business. So, what was your experience?
Yes.
You happy with it?
What do you mean the bolt-on business?
I mean, the business you bought and just bolted onto your business.
Oh yeah. No, it's been great. Yeah, no. So yeah, because he was doing, he joked, his name's Andrew, way too many fucking Andrews in this junk removal world. And he told me at one point, he's like, yeah, I felt like I was in your shadows for 2 years, because every time I went to a networking event and said, hey, my name's Andrew, they're like, oh, do you know Andy with Camo Crew? And he's like, who is this fucking guy? So he reached out to me to ask about a job, and I was straight up with him. I was like, hey, I told him, I said I wouldn't do the fucking job. It's like, why not? And I told him all the reasons why I wouldn't do the job. And I have a much higher risk tolerance. Like, I fucking love risk. And it was carpet. It was 30,000 square feet of carpet in a commercial building. And I'm like, nope, there's so many things that can go fucking wrong with that. And I got my ass kicked on commercial carpet. So I explained why I wouldn't do it. And he goes, yeah, I figure it the same way. Anyway, so then we got talking. I realized his goals and my goals, and there was a lot of alignment. So we worked through the negotiation of buying out his company. We rewrapped his truck. He kept his trailer personally because it didn't fit our business model. And he's coming now as our integrator, and it's been great because where his strengths and my strengths line up, and my risk, he's more risk averse. So he sees where I'm risking the dollars, and he sees it, and yet he's like, I see why you're doing that. It was his second week. I think it was Monday or Tuesday of his second week. We were chatting. We talk for maybe half hour to 45 minutes a day. So strategically, let's have just get to know each other conversation, And he goes, I feel like I jumped ahead 5 years in junk removal. I go, you did, right? Like, you were on year 2, I'm on year 8. And he goes, I'd much rather have the pains of scaling than new or not scaling, but like basically the day-to-day operations versus scaling out of the truck. Like, he got stuck in the how do I get out of the truck? Like, he was only first starting to let other guys run the rig when he wasn't there. And so now he sees like, shit, we send out 6 to 8 trucks a day. Like, for him to see it, like, oh wait, you can actually do that and sleep easy at night. It's like, yeah, no, it's taken a lot of years. Right? We all know that. We all
stupid. I sleep easy too.
Yeah, it's like when you said, "What the benefits of being stupid?" Yeah. Actually, so on 4th of July, I don't know what happened, but I was just fucking wiped. I was tired. I played volleyball that day. But I get home at like 8:30. I'm already eating. I was like, I'm gonna watch TV or something. I fell asleep on my couch at like 8:30. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go to bed. So I go crawl on my bed, and it's 9 o'clock at night, and all of a sudden the fucking fireworks start going off, and I'm laying there. And I'm texting with somebody, whatever. And she's like, oh, because she knows I'm a vet. And she's like, are the fireworks going to bother you? I go, oh, fuck no. I'm gonna sleep like a goddamn baby. Like in Iraq when shit was going off, like, oh, that's so far out. We're dude, I can sleep easy as shit. I remember sleeping in Ramadi, and at night they'd be fucking popping them. I don't give a shit. I will sleep like a baby. right? When fireworks are going off, bombs are going off. I'm like, oh, that's so far in the distance. We're fucking good, you know? Yeah, that's that old, ignorance is bliss, right? It's like I sleep easy because I'm stupid, you know? No, here's the deal. I've been rich and I've been poor. Being rich is more fun. Being poor is more interesting. I've made it and I've lost it, and I know how to make it again. So that's why I sleep all right. Because yeah, I know I can have a shit day. I know I can lose a lot, and I also know I figure out how to get it back. I figure out how to do it one time. I'm actually going to do it better the next time. So even case in point, I'd hired a gentleman 2 years ago to run our company, and did not work out for shit. Right, there was a lot of choices I made, and that did not work out for me. Right, I'll take ownership there. And right before we brought on this guy, his name's Andrew, and brought out the company, I was talking to my HR guy, who's really my number one sounding board. And he gave me a quote that was really interesting, and I've carried it with me, so I got to give him credit. His name's Blake. He said the same man never crosses the same river twice. When the man encounters the river again, the river is changed, and so is he. And so I look at all the choices I made for those 18 months when I had somebody else taking over to run the company, and what went right and what did not go right. And so now this time around, I have that much more experience. I have that much more knowledge. And I also had a second person in the case of Blake testing to make sure I was making the right choice. Because the first time I made the choice, it was me and me alone making the choice. And now I had more people that were vested in the success to make the choices. I used the predictive index. I used the cognitive ability. I did all this work outside of the romantic fantasy of being an entrepreneur and wanting to make it work, right? I have a habit of thinking I can outwork the problem when in actuality the solution is much simpler. I complicate it by thinking I can outwork it. So it has worked out. To answer your question, he has molded in. He has brought some stability to our organization because he is just steady Eddie. He was a firefighter. Nothing shakes him, right? I fucking lose my goddamn mind early and often, right? It's like shoot twice, aim once kind of shit, you know? And so in that regard, he gets it. And he also is like, he occasionally will be like, oh, so this happens to your business too? It's like, yeah, there's shit in junk removal that is the industry flavor. Yep. Some people will be pissed no matter what you do, right? Some people will be happy no matter what you do. So there are some liabilities within the industry. It doesn't matter if you're a sole proprietor, been doing it for 10 minutes, or, you got a huge empire, you've been doing it for 10 years. There are certain things about this industry that they're going to bite you in the ass because that's part of the game.
Amen, baby. Amen.
All right. Well, let's end this quarterly update. What's been your top takeaway today?
My top takeaway is probably processes, bro. Like I'm just, you're working on them. I'm working on them. I think it's where you're going to go. I think it's how you're going to scale your company. And I want to make sure this is clear. If you want to scale your company,
yeah.
If you don't want to be a big player, that's totally cool.
Yeah.
But I think if you want to do it, you got to scale. And then just, I don't know, man. Always looking for ways to get out in front of people. Like you said, more parades, more networking. That's my game.
Yeah, I've been very intentional these last 2.5 years of doing this podcast. My dad is 68 years old. He is a one-man operation. His company name is Two Man Crew, and yet he's been the only guy doing it for the last 10 years. He went through 2 business partners. He puts in doors and windows for a living, and he runs his truck and runs his entire business out of a notebook and a cell phone where the voicemail inbox is always full, and he barely text message people's back. He does not have an email address, and yet he's paid his house off. He's making more money at 68 now than he's ever made in his life. He has a great quality product. People love the work he does. And he has no intention of even having an employee at this point in his life, So I am all about, right, whatever your dream is, right? So I've seen this on the Facebook groups where people are pissy, like, oh, you should want this or you should want that. Man, if you want to go bang jobs all day, go bang fucking jobs, right? It's for the guy, right? And there's something to be learned within these shows. These are just a little more centric around hiring employees and scaling the business. Yet there's something to be taken away. My whole goal, the one thing I will challenge everybody on, and I appreciate you, Andy Barten, is you've leaned into this heavily since we've gotten to know each other, is look at all the stuff you can keep out of the landfill by develop a better process. You want to be a one truck operation, or you want to bang your own jobs. Figure out a way to recycle metal. Then find a way to get appliances. Maybe not to the recycler, but to an appliance guy. Then look for electronics. Find the wood, right? Find wood. We get our ass kicked on wood all the time, often, right? Find ways to recycle wood. Even if it's at no cost, you got to drive 5 extra minutes. Do it. That's my whole goal. No matter where you are scale-wise in business, I will always challenge you to be more environmentally cautious, because that's all part of our industry, right? I want us to look more like a logistics industry and less like being in the waste industry. My top takeaway from you, Andy, and every time I've had you, I think this is your 4th time on the show, and we've known each other a couple of years, and we spent time together in person last year. I always learn something. I am going to have our HR. We have a third-party HR company. I'm going to have our director of HR and his employee, his operations manager, listen to this episode, because there's some things that you brought up today that we haven't considered in the last 6 months, as we've struggled to a certain extent with employees. So, like you said earlier, right? As soon as you think you know something, you're probably already dead. You don't know it. So that constant, learning. I have, Casey left the show a couple weeks ago, and I've struggled to say, hey, do I keep this thing going? Not. And I said it really simple. I'm going to keep the show going so long as I have guests. So long as there are conversations to be had, we're going to have the show. Next week, we're going to have Kevin Hess. He's I
love Kevin.
Yeah, Survivor junk removal. I've been watching him. He was 800 guy junk guy, right? Big blue guy.
Yeah.
So Kevin, really looking forward to it. He's kind of been making his rounds. He was on Sonoma hauling. He's been on a couple of the other podcasts. Really smart guy. Really looking forward to hearing what he has to say, because he's got 20 years of experience. And then I'm going to take 2 weeks off of the show, because I'm going to be off training. And it's logistically, I'm not going to try to book guests, and there's a chance I will not be able to have the show. So take a couple weeks off in July, and then we're going to get back to it in August. Go ahead, Andy.
No, I was going to say, I think Kevin has such a unique perspective, man. He's I really think he's an operations wizard, and I think it should not be discounted. You really got to listen to what the man has to say. I'm interested to see how he progresses as an entrepreneur, but I really enjoyed talking to Kevin, getting to know Kevin. I also want to put a shout out in there. I don't talk to him. I've only spoken to him a couple times through Facebook, but I really like that guy, Cade Swallow, out of Arizona. Maybe he's worth talking to. He was in pretty tight with Fire Dogs for a little while, but I enjoy what he has to say. I like his mindset. And I just want to be clear, like, dude.
Oh yeah, I like that guy. Yeah, he added me code 3 junk removal.
Yep, exactly.
Code 3, him and I chatted recently. Yeah, he's a good dude. Yeah.
I think he's got his shit together. He's got a good plan, and I like that. He's kind of doing it his way, the way he wants to. And I think he's just a great example of what's acceptable. Like, dude, run your business how you want to run it. But I learned so much talking to you guys. I learned so much from your show, and I try to pride myself on talking to people in the junk removal space. And I would tell you, almost none of my ideas are original. I think hopefully it goes out there.
It's true. It's true.
I haven't created them. Maybe I've modified them. Maybe I've dug a little deeper on a couple of them as I've thought about it. But they're all generated through conversations just like this.
Yeah.
I'll
give a shout out to Cade. Cade hit me up. We talked like a 10-minute conversation, and it's like, yeah, dude, you're fucking killing it. Why are you calling me? Like I don't see. It was one of those like, what's the fucking problem, man? Right? He's doing a great job, and it's like, define your success, man. Don't worry about other people. He's a good dude. And what I appreciate about him was he had the humility, right? And vulnerability. Be like, hey man, can I get like 10 minutes of your time? So we had a conversation. Fuck, I learned from him. I was writing things down. I'm like, oh fuck, I never thought about that. That makes sense, So it's like, that's how we build this fucking industry. We got to be talking. And that's why this podcast will remain, because it's a place for us to collaborate and have conversations. I will say there will be, I really prided myself on those first 100 episodes. We did not miss a single week. So there will be weeks we miss, and that's part of the cadence of me needing to get guests. There are a lot of episodes where it was Casey and I sitting here bullshitting. So now the opportunity here moving forward is we're gonna have more quality shows and possibly less quantity shows. So that's what's coming up. Kevin Hess next week, couple weeks off, and then I got 3 guests lined up for August, and we will have Raven Barten on. Let's get her on for August or September and talk numbers, because she is a marketing
will find her
numbers genius.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I haven't seen that show yet, but I saw you had a woman on recently, right?
Jenna, she was a health coach, life coach.
Oh, I saw the clips. I didn't watch it. Was she on the Trash Talk or was she on something else?
Yeah, she was on Trash Talk. Yeah, we talked about the importance of taking care of your body, especially as an entrepreneur.
And that's what I was going to say. I think that's where Raven's going to add a lot of value. Is she's so on top of her game, and there's a few really sharp females in our industry.
Yep.
You talk to that woman Lee Michelle, you talk to Denise Sparks. Yep. I really enjoy both of them. But Raven, I think she has I think she's really going to bring perspective. I don't want to oversell her, but get her on, see what you think.
All right, we will have Raven on sometime in August or September. So, all right, if you can think of other guests or you want to be a guest on the Trash Talk Business Podcast, where the best ideas in Drunken World will come to chat every week, find us on trashtalkbusinesspodcast.com. You can also find me on LinkedIn or Facebook and send me a message, and Taylor, our producer, will hook you up, get you on the show. It is not a very difficult process. Biggest thing is you got either a question or you got an idea. You got to bring some substance that's going to be of value to our listeners. So that's the goal there. All right. On behalf of Taylor, our producer, Andy Barten, and the Quarterly Update, I'm Andy Weins. This has been another great week of the Trash Talk Business Podcast, and we will see you next week.
Thanks for listening. Tap subscribe or follow to get the latest episode. And if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to leave us a review and tell a friend to listen. To learn more, visit Trash